Good morning, dear students. I am Sampat Bhadu, Assistant Professor of English, Government College, Sri Dungargad, Bikaner. Today, we will discuss As You Like It. Let's discuss the theme and the subject matter of As You Like It. The play opens with two parallel actions. These actions are similar in the main but different in details. The rightful Duke is banished by his younger brother, Duke Frederick. All his rights are then usurped by him. Usurped means taken up by him. By whom? By Duke Frederick, younger brother of the Duke. In private life, too, a younger brother, Orlando, is estranged from the elder brother, Oliver, due to the latter's ill treatment. Oliver conceives a great hatred for Orlando because he is brave, strong, and handsome. One day, Orlando demands that either Oliver should bring him up properly or he should hand over to him the money which his father, Sir Roland de Boys, had left to him by will. This leads to a quarrel in which Oliver is threatened. Oliver promises to give Orlando money but secretly determines to get rid of him by treachery. Treachery means cheating. The opportunity is afforded by wrestling matches held by the usurper to keep the people of the land engaged. Oliver encourages Orlando to join a wrestling match with Charles. He incites Charles, provokes. Incites here means provokes Charles, who is the Duke's champion wrestler, to break Orlando's neck. The wrestling match comes off on the next day. Orlando appears before the spectators, including the Duke. The Duke is so charmed at the handsome appearance of the young man that he takes the help of his daughter Celia and his niece Rosalind to try to dissuade him from the contest. The Duke knows well that Orlando has scarcely any chance against his professional wrestler. Orlando falls in love with Rosalind at first sight. Now he is not to be induced to give up his chance of glory in his mistress' eyes. The wrestling match takes place, and to the surprise of everybody, Orlando wins. But it only increases his danger. The usurper learns that Orlando is the son of an old adherent of the banished duke. So he leaves the court without giving the promised prize to the winner. Rosalind and Celia are shocked at this. Rosalind takes the chain off her own neck and bestows this on the young winner. Rosalind actually is the daughter of the banished duke, and Celia is the daughter of the banished duke's younger brother, Duke Frederick's daughter. Both of them are good friends. Duke Frederick's malice means hatred, suddenly breaks out against Rosalind. Celia and Rosalind are talking of Orlando. Frederick enters the room and, with looks full of anger, orders. He orders Rosalind to leave the palace at once and follow her father into banishment. Celia pleads, means requests her father for Rosalind, but in vain. But useless. The two girls love each other very much. They cannot bear being separated from each other. They can't tolerate separation from each other. They make a plan to leave the court for the forest of Arden that very night in the company of Touchstone, the court jester, clown. Jester means clown, joker. They assume the names of Ganymede and Eliana, respectively. Yes, this Rosalind and the two girls, Ganymede. Ganymede is here, Rosalind, and Eliana is here, Celia, disguised. Now, Orlando hears from the old and trusty servant Adam that his wicked brother Oliver intends to destroy him by setting fire to his chamber that night. So he leaves his father's house with Adam. By chance, he wanders in the same direction as the two girls. They all come to the forest of Arden, where the banished duke and his followers fleet the time carelessly. In the forest, we find Rosalind and Celia, disguised as Ganymede and Eliana, respectively, taking shelter at a shepherd's house. Orlando meets them without recognizing who they are. He confides to Rosalind the secret of his hopeless love. She promises to cure him of his love if he comes every day and woos her as if she were his Rosalind. Orlando is very glad to try this remedy in mere sport. The courtship goes on from day to day. Orlando is living in the company of the banished duke. He recognizes him as the son of his faithful supporter, Sir Rolla de Boys. Orlando's brother faces difficulties. Orlando's brother is Oliver, who faces difficulties. He is asked by the usurping duke to produce his brother Orlando. On his failure to do so, he has been deprived of all his belongings. By whom? By Duke Frederick. He is then turned out of his house. Oliver also wanders into the same direction, and while asleep, hungry and wayworn, he is by chance saved by Orlando from a snake and a lioness. Shame and remorse at once seize him and repents of his unworthy conduct. He beseeches, means requests with tears, his brother's pardon for the injuries he has done to him. Orlando rejoices on seeing him patient and readily forgives him. They embrace each other. From that moment, Oliver loves Orlando with a true brotherly affection. In his fight with the lioness, Orlando is wounded. The wound in his arm having bled very much, he finds himself too weak to go or to visit Ganymede. He therefore desires his brother to go and tell Ganymede about the accident which has befallen him. Oliver goes there and tells Ganymede and Elena how Orlando saved his life and how he had cruelly treated Orlando. He tells them of their, means Oliver and Orlando's reconciliation. Reconciliation means patch up or agreement. Oliver expresses sincere sorrow for his offenses. This touches the kind heart of Elena. Elena is who? Elena is Celia, disguised as Elena. Celia, disguised as Elena. so much that she is impressed, she is touched by the sorrowful expression of Oliver, so much that she instantly falls in love with Oliver. Oliver too falls in love with her at once. But while love is thus stealing into the hearts of Elena and Oliver, he is no less busy with Ganymede. Hearing of the danger which Orlando had been in, she faints. When she recovers, she pretends that she had counterfeited the swoon in the imaginary character of Rosalind. Oliver returns to Orlando. He tells him how he has fallen hopelessly in love with Elena. He also tells him that she has also lent a favorable ear to his suit, even in their first interview. He talks to his brother as of a thing almost settled that he should marry Elena, that he will live here as a shepherd and settle his estate and house at home upon Orlando. The marriage is to take place the next day. The Duke and Orlando approve of it. Orlando now complains of his miserable condition. Ganymede assures him that he will bring his Rosalind by the help of magic so that he might marry her the next day when his brother will marry Elena. All assemble before the Duke. The magician reveals herself to her father to the great joy and surprise all. Two other couples, Sylvius and Phoebe, Touchstone and Audrey, are also united in wedlock on the day, on the same day. Just as they are going to be married, the second brother of Orlando, Jacques de Bois, comes to the Duke. He tells the Duke that his usurper brother, who was coming to the forest with an army, has repented of his misdeeds by coming across a hermit. So he has given up the kingdom in his favor. This joyful news comes opportunely to heighten the festivity and rejoicing at the wedding of the princess. The Duke has now an opportunity of rewarding those true friends who stayed with him in his banishment. These worthy followers, though they had patiently shared his adverse fortune, were very well pleased to return in peace and prosperity to the palace and their lawful duke. That's all for today, and have a nice day, my dears.